Hi friends, it's Belinda here from Be Making Joy. Welcome to episode 69 of What Brings Me Joy, a mostly knitting podcast from my home here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Today is Thursday, March the 5th of 2026. If you're new here, I am a pattern designer and knitting pattern writer from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I do this podcast every 2 or 3 weeks to share what's on my knitting needles and what projects I've just finished, what I'm casting on next, what new acquisitions I may have bought. This is where you'll often get a sneak peek at my upcoming designs and where I share what I'm knitting from other designers' patterns. I just released a new pattern last month. I don't have any new designs on the needles right now, but I've got a finished object to show you, and I've been working on a couple of other WIPs projects from patterns from other designers. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm so glad to have you back. So the elephant in the room is my hair, or the lack thereof. So my hair is in this envelope, ready to be mailed off to Wigs for Kids, a collaboration with the Canadian Cancer Society. And if you're new here, let me catch you up. I used to have long hair, and we lost my sister to cancer almost 3 years ago. And it was breast cancer that had metastasized throughout her body before it was found. So this is your PSA to go get your boobs checked. I myself have my annual mammogram scheduled for 2 weeks from now. I'm now on an annual schedule because of my family history. So yeah. So 3 years ago, I donated my hair, and I did it again this week. To donate your hair, you need a ponytail or a braid at least 10 inches long. And it needs to be clean, it needs to be dry, which with my long hair took so long to dry. I was planning to cut it again in April, which is Cancer Awareness Month here in Canada. But Tuesday night, I just couldn't handle it anymore. Hard to sleep with all that weight wrapped around your neck. My hair is very thick, very heavy. So Wednesday morning, I put in the 2 braids. I'll show you pictures. And I looked up online where my nearest walk-in salon was that had no waiting list, and went down just a neighboring community, Deer Run, to Great Clips. A different location than the last time I got my hair cut, because the previous location was temporarily closed. I don't know why. Anyway, so I was surprised to find when I got there that this location of Great Clips is an affiliate for the Wigs for Kids program. And so hence the pre-addressed envelope. They have everything prepared. And my hair is already sealed in this bag, but I've got pictures for you. Yeah. And the 2 girls in the shop, they seemed so very excited to be helping me to do this. So we had fun. It's extremely short now. When they first cut the ponytail off, I thought I was quite intrigued with what was left. And then as she's evening it out, it got shorter and shorter. But one moment I like it, the next moment I hate it. I think I like it from all angles except straight on. I've got this weird cowlicky thing happening here. So I don't know, maybe I should have got bangs. I don't know. And we've got static going on because it's winter in Calgary where it's always dry anyway. And then when you've got all your heat on, everything's dried out even more. So I've got static going on, and yeah. But yeah, sometimes I've only had it done 2 days. I got it done Wednesday. Today's Thursday. The one moment I like it, one moment I hate it. But will grow into it, it will grow fast. My hair does grow fast, unless things have changed. So, but if I have a bad day, I can just keep my toque on, right? It's that time of year. All right, enough about my hair. Let's get on to some yarny things. So I need to mail this now. So my first finished object is a pair of socks. So I started and finished these since I spoke to you last. And I told you I wanted to participate in the Never Have I Ever Knit Along with Knits and Pieces podcast. So this is my first time ever doing a Fleegle heel. So never have I ever challenge is to do something new, a new technique. So I did the Fleegle heel. This technique was designed by Susan Gilnert Stevens, a blogger known as Fleegle. I don't know why. And a lot of people have been talking about it. So I prepped it for airplane travel because at almost the last minute, my husband decided to attend a conference in Santa Monica, and I wasn't going to let him go without me. Anywhere warm in the wintertime, yes. So I got both toes started on 2 different needles and then put them on 9-inch circulars for the plane. Took my long needles with me too for working on the heels. And I did it on 2.75 millimeter needles. So I got both toes started. Our flight was delayed, so we're waiting in the airport lounge and then on the flight. So I got the first foot done to where the increases start for the gusset. Put it aside and did the second foot up to that point, or almost to that point. The gusset and heels require paying more attention, and had to be switched to the other needles because the 9-inch circular was too short for that. And so that was my hotel knitting in the evenings after we got there. But anyway, I realized while I was on the plane that they were going to be too big for me, so now these are for my husband. I wasn't going to frog on the plane, and I didn't have smaller needles with me anyway. And I was already doing the lowest stitch count. So, evenings at the hotel, I got the heels done. Flights home, the airport lounge and the flight home, I got both legs almost done. And I finished them off the day after we got home. So these were finished on Saturday or Sunday. Anyway, the yarn in this is Peyton's Croy. I don't know if I still have the label. No, I don't think so. I don't know what the colorway is, but shades of gray, self-striping. So to make the stripes line up the same for each sock, on the second skein of yarn, I had to wind off some to get to the same color as I started the first one with. And then when I decided the legs were tall enough, I had this much left. So I've got a little bit of leftovers, probably enough for toes on something else. I don't know. They'll go in the leftover box. And that was finished object number 1. The Fleegle heel socks. Now, in other finished objects, I have 3 more dishcloths. The Three Sisters Mountain design that I have for free on my blog at bemakingjoy.ca. That's BMAKINGJOY /blog. So this one I did it on our trip while sitting in the meetings, and the next one in my purse is already half done. Of course, I still need to weave in the ends and block it to make it gift worthy. And then these 2 were on the treadmill. Each one represents 2 1-hour sessions. So it takes me 1 hour to get to here, and then I have to sit down and work on the pattern. That's 15 to 20 minutes. And then the next treadmill session, I finish it. So this is proof that I exercised 4 times in the last 2 weeks, which is pretty good considering we were away for 4 days. So they also need ends woven in and blocking to pretty them up. And I did some exercise too while we were away. I walked for 3 hours one day. The yarn store was about a 40-minute walk away. Wild Fiber Studios, I think was the name. Yes, I went. So I have some acquisitions to show you later. And then on the walk back, I wandered through a park. But anyway, so I have some acquisitions to show you. But first, let me show you the progress on 3 of my WIPs. Another project that I'm doing for the Never Have I Ever challenge is the Hipsulaisen Karuselli socks. That's a Finnish word that translates to carousel socks. The designer is Katie Koto. I'll put it on the screen. And this is very unique. The knitting starts at the center of the heel and works out until a certain size, until these sides, it's in a hexagon, right? And then these 2 edges are grafted together for the instep. 2 sections here are knit into the toe, and then these 2 sections will become the leg. Now the toe construction, I did show you the heel construction last episode. The toe construction is a star toe. But in the pattern, the decreases continue to a point, which I didn't like. It would look too much like an elf's foot. But that star toe is the same toe that I had put in my glow knee-high socks design. But that's toe up, and it starts at 16 stitches, and then does the star increases. So on this one, I just decreased to 16 stitches and then grafted them together, so as not to have that pointy elf bit. Now I need to put these stitches back on the needles and work the leg, which also is very unique. So we'll see that next episode. So as always, any pattern I talk about is linked in the show notes down below. And this yarn, I'll link the yarn supplier as well. It's from Ancient Arts Yarns here in Calgary. Let's not root through that. The colorway is the Velveteen Rabbit, which was the January color of the month. Their series for 2026 is children's books. So the Velveteen Rabbit was this colorway on their sock needle base. Well, that's fun. That's going to be my focus on the next couple of days, is to work on this because it's fun. Now, bear with me. Put this out of the way. Tuck the needles in there so they don't go missing. Now the next project that I've done some work on is my jean cardigan. The jean cardigan pattern is by Joanna Bohme, B-O-H-M-E. And it's a top-down cardigan. Oops. So the yoke is finished now and ready to separate for sleeves and body. So it's a all over lace work interspersed with some garter stitch rows. And the yoke, it took quite some time because as you add the raglan increases, they need to be incorporated into that lace pattern. So I had to keep consulting the charts every right side row to see how each section starts and ends. And yeah, now it's ready to be separated. I need to go read the pattern again to confirm the stitch counts needed for the underarms. And then I think once I'm knitting just the body with no more increases, it should go faster. The pattern is a long document to read through, and it's not really written step by step. But if you understand raglan sweater construction and can follow knitting charts, it's a good pattern. The yarn I'm using is from my stash. It's Karen Cloud Cakes from Michaels. This was a huge cake. I'm maybe halfway through it. So I have 2 of these cakes. I bought them when they first came out because of the color. Purple is my favorite color. It's going to be very warm because this is 100% polyester, so it doesn't breathe. It's got a fuzz to it. It's going to be a very warm sweater. So good idea using it in a cardigan and with the lace so we can get some air through it. Quite happy with that, but it will get put aside now for a little while because I need to get back to the test knit that I'm doing for Kim Schaefer, which I don't have to show you this episode because I haven't done anything on it in the last 2 weeks. But let me put this away. And the next project. Now that the Olympics are over, NHL hockey is back. So we went to a game Tuesday night, and my hockey knitting project got to come out of hibernation. So this is my stadium sit-upon pattern, and the pattern includes graphs for several different sports. This yarn is from Ancient Arts Yarns. It's their hat trick line, where they have team colors for every NHL hockey team. They also have a touchdown line of the same yarn with all the team colors for all the NFL teams, football. So it's my hockey knitting project. The first side, it's a cushion cover. And the first side panel is finished and not handy to show you, but I did show it pre-Olympics anyway. The entire section I work at home, and then once I'm going round and round in just the stockinette, it's hockey game knitting because I can work on it without having to look at my hands and keep track of the game. I don't know what else to tell you. If there's any questions, you can always ask. Yeah. So the game on Tuesday night was the Calgary Flames versus the Dallas Stars. And the Stars won. I think the final score was 6-1. I'm not sure. We actually left before the game was completely over. Bad fans giving up on your team before the end of the game because they're losing, but we left early to beat the rush out. So that is all the WIPs to share with you this time. Let's get my notebook and do my WIP count update and my grams in, grams out update. So there's my WIPs list. In the last episode, I had 7 works in progress. Even though the dishcloths are always at least 2 of them on the go at the same time, one on the treadmill, one in my purse, I'm only counting them as one WIP. So, so I did start and finish the Fleegle heels since the last episode, so that's on and off the list. Every dishcloth doesn't count because I immediately start another one. So my WIP count stays at 7. I don't have any new cast-ons planned for the next 2 weeks. I have a goal to finish those carousel socks and the test knit that I'm doing. I want to get it done long before her deadline. So that's the focus for the next couple of weeks. Now, my grams, now my grams in, grams out list, I need to pause and add things to it. Okay, my grams in, grams out stash down update. My goal this year was to use more yarn than I buy. Deplete some of this excess inventory. But I just bought 3 more skeins of yarn last week. Add that to the 3 skeins I already bought in February. That's 650 grams in. The dishcloths and mittens and everything that I finished during the month of February added up to 381.89 grams. That puts me in a deficit for February of 268.11 grams. Add that to my success back in January, I'm only behind 45 grams for the year. Now, the socks for Dan, I put on March 1st, so we're not in that total yet. They were 82 grams, so that brings me back up ahead. I did put the dishcloths all in February's total, even though one of them didn't get finished until this week, but it's already written down in February, so okay. There won't be any more March purchases of yarn. There will not be any more yarn purchases in March. I won't be going to any yarn stores or festivals. I am missing my chance to go to the Knit City, Toronto, because we will be in Hawaii at the time. Kauai, the Garden Island, so I don't believe there are any yarn stores there. So there will not be any yarn purchases in March. And I will finish some objects and bring that total back up. Okay, so those 3 new yarn skeins that I bought in Santa Monica, let's show them to you. So I went to Wild Fiber Studio, and I was a little disappointed that there were no unique fibers there. I was hoping, being in a warm climate, they might have some seaweed or sugarcane or fibers of that nature. I found such fibers a year or 2 ago in Redlands, California. But all Wild Fiber had were wools and cottons, one with some linen in it, alpacas, the usual fibers. And I don't believe any of them were actually American fibers. But I'm happy with my purchases. I bought some more cotton for dishcloths, 2 different kinds. This one is Queensland Coastal Fine Cotton, pure soft cotton, 100% cotton. It doesn't say mercerized, does it? Mercerized cotton is best for dishcloths, but anyway, there's all the labels. It claims to be vegan and pork gut. Good text. Whatever all that means. So that'll be some of my 3 sisters' dishcloths or face cloths. And this one also is cotton circulo, and the color is steel. Was there a color printed on this one? This one was called Stone. Steel, 547 yards per 500 meters. Though it's a fingering weight. So that will make an interesting face cloth. It'll be smaller than my usual. Unless I decide to put working into something else. A shirt. There it is. 100% mercerized Brazilian virgin cotton. Maybe I should have bought 2 skeins and worked it into a garment. But I have too much yarn already in the house. I'll probably try it, at least one face cloth with it. Now, and this one I didn't check what the weight was. This is a number 2, so it's a fingering weight. It's a sport weight. Number 2 is a sport weight. 1 is a fingering weight. So they're both going to be smaller than the dishcloth that I've been making. We'll see. And trying to find something uniquely Californian, I found Magic Land yarn, hand-dyed in Oceanside, California. Now, hand-dyed in Oceanside doesn't mean the yarn is from the U.S. They're usually imported, but who knows now with all the tariffs. But this is an 85% superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon. It's 19.5 microns. That's a pretty fine fiber. It's a 4-ply, 427 yards to the 100 grams, so it's fingering weight. The colorway is called Room for One More. Magic Land Princess Sock is the base. Room for One More. Purples again. I'm always attracted to the purples. So that will probably become a pair of socks one day. That is my purchases, my acquisitions, and that concludes this episode. So thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment or reach out to me. You'll find me as Be Making Joy on all the socials. Not TikTok. I haven't dabbled into TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, and Ravelry, and Etsy. So reach out to me if you wish. If you like this, click the like button so more people can see it. And happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy diamond dotting, happy weaving, happy candle making. Whatever it is that you like to do, go make some joy.